It'll be okay.
It says we're live, but now we really need real verification
Oh,
because it's all
now it's
weird. Yeah, but I had to hit the button over in YouTube. So I don't know. But you said now it's live. You see us, right?
Yep. And I
Okay.
just listened and I can hear us too.
That's unfortunate that you could hear us,
Yep.
but maybe somebody will tune in and that wants to hear us. But we got a surprise. We got a surprise. Are
We
we
do.
coordinated enough? Let's see. Here we go. Did it work?
Yes, it did. It did work. And there was sound. It was amazing.
Oops.
Again?
Now I have to figure out how to get us ready for our intermission. Like I need intermission broke out from that.
Oh.
It'll make it a lot easier. And the sound worked. So I don't know if I'll be able to play videos yet. We're have to step up. But because this actually happened to already be saved in there.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Darcy.
Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning,
Oh.
Patricia. Or Pat. I guess she wants Patricia because that's what's in her chat name.
Yep. Yep. Good morning. She says it was cool.
Yep, that was Darcy's little video that we made a long time ago.
Yeah, before we ever started recording.
That was her debut onto the art scene
Mm-hmm.
or in the
Yep.
video
She put the
scene.
music to it. It was excellent.
So,
Good teamwork.
what do we got going on today? Did you eat
Um.
your mushrooms? Those special ones that I sent you?
Nope.
No.
I always look like this.
Oh. You do have extra big eyes today.
Yeah, except for they're like blinking individually. I'm winking today instead of blinking. Are you okay?
I'm having convulsions.
You are.
I was trying to adjust. It was
Yep.
funny.
No, that was
So,
funny.
Yeah, the mushrooms told me to send them to you.
Uh-oh.
Hmm. They're getting to us.
Yep. They've gotten to you for sure.
There's theories that they control humans. What do you think about that?
Um, I'm unaware of this theory.
You are? Okay.
Yep.
There's a time of the year in the spring when the mushrooms call to the humans and they come to the woods to find them.
Oh, for
Mm-hmm.
dinner.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So the mushrooms want us to eat them in the spring?
Yeah, so they can be ingested so they can take over your body.
Oh, like the ants?
Yeah, kind of like the ants. It's exactly just like the ants.
Okay, I'm in.
Don't know if it works for artichokes.
Oh.
I was just thinking about that.
What about eggplants?
Or eggplant, sorry. Sorry, wrong family.
Yeah, don't get us confused. Artichokes have hearts.
Artichokes have heart. So you're heartless.
Yep. You
Yep.
just have
Let's look
big
into
beady
this.
eyes.
So, the fungal mind. Evidence for mushroom intelligence.
It's official then.
Mushrooms and other kind of fungi are often associated with witchcraft and are subjects of long-standing superstitions. Witches dance inside fairy rings of mushrooms, according to German folklore, why French fable warns that anyone foolish enough to step inside these sorcerer rings will be cursed by enormous toads with bulging eyes.
Like the Hypnotoad?
Exactly like the Hypnotoad. That's probably where the idea came from. These impressions come from poisonous and psychoactive peculiar, peculiarities. Ah, that was tough for me.
Yeah.
Of some species, as well as overnight appearance of toadstool ring formations. Given the magical reputation of the fungi, claiming that they might be conscious is dangerous territory for a credentialed scientist. Good thing we're not credentialed.
Yeah. We can do whatever we want.
Yes. Yes, they say we can. But in recent years, a body of remarkable experiments have shown that fungi operate as individuals, engage in decision making, are capable of learning, and possess short term memory. These findings highlight the spectacular sensitivity of such simple organisms and situate the human version of the mind within a spectrum of consciousness that might well span the entire natural world.
Hmm.
So there you go.
Interesting.
What do you think?
Weird. I think it's weird.
It is.
I like it.
Before we explore the evidence for fungal intelligence, we need to consider the slippery vocabulary of cognitive science.
That's
Conscious,
a
conscious.
funny sentence.
What?
That's a funny sentence.
We need to consider
Fungal
the.
intelligence and slippery vocabulary.
Somebody
That's weird.
liked their little thesaurus and wanted a
Yeah.
lot of words. Cool words. Consciousness implies awareness, evidence of which might be expressed in an organism's responsiveness or sensitivity to its surroundings. Until recently, most scientists awarded consciousness to big brained animals and excluded other forms of life from this honor. The problem with this favoritism, as cognitive psychologist Arthur Reber has pointed out, well, it's obvious what the problem is. You might miss other things. I mean, like, it's not even like you don't even got to be a scientist to realize that. It's like, oh, I'm just not going to consider anything else other than big brain stuff. Maybe you don't understand how that thinks yet. You know what I mean?
Yep. I do.
It's impossible to identify a threshold of awareness or responsiveness that separates conscious animals from the unconscious. Yeah, exactly. We can escape this dilemma, however, once we allow ourselves to identify different versions of consciousness across a continuum of species from apes to amoebas. That's not to imply all organisms possess rich emotional lives and are capable of thinking, although fungi do appear to express the biological rudiments of these faculties.
Faculties. All right.
So, I would agree 100% with that. And if you only have one version of consciousness, then your ability to apply it to a wider range of beings is more difficult, right? So
Yeah.
you would need your different levels, different degrees on a scale, right?
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully we're somewhere near the top. But from my understanding, we're not like in the way of like I think like octopus, that group of animals is above us. I don't know. They seem super, 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 super smart. But They can't use
Yeah.
tools. I think that's what always
Yeah, they
separates
do.
us. I mean, they use tools, they can't invent tools or make tools, maybe. Machine
Yeah.
tools.
Oh.
Because there's like
Yeah.
something weird that like actually separates us from everything. And if you think about it, it's true because and I think it has something to do with our ability to create,
Yeah,
not
but
create. Oh
I
God.
think I think well, the drawback with octopus and is that they are solitary. You know, they don't really have other octopus showing them how to do stuff. So each individual octopus has to learn all these amazing things. If they actually were learning from each other, I don't think would that would be the case anymore.
Is that an argument for genetic intelligence where I think that's the term. It's either genetic intelligence or hereditary intelligence, where you pass intelligence from parents to child, from parent to child.
I guess. I mean, I would think so. I
Like,
mean, I'm
yeah.
sure there's some dummies out there. But I think for the most part, they're pretty smart.
Sorry, I was just thinking of a not so smart octopus swimming
Yeah.
around the ocean. My first thought is it would get eaten. Like, no, they really don't exist because they would just be eaten. But
Yeah.
then
Probably.
I gave it the benefit of the doubt that it was smart enough to survive, but not very bright.
Yeah.
And so, that was it was just a funny movie. And that's exactly how a movie would be. We could just write a little script around it, then you just expand it, then you're like, oh, you need to add these extra characters, you need to get it to an hour and a half, and then you got a movie.
Yep. Yep.
Or
And it
you
would take years to make.
or you cheap out and you make it like 90 or no. Yes, yes, I know. I was like, uh, no,
Minute.
wait a minute.
Or you cheap out and just make it 90 minutes.
Yep. You just don't write an hour and 30 minutes, which is more characters. You know,
Oh
sorry.
man.
It's
No, that's awesome.
I'm
I
having a
like
rough morning.
well,
Uh,
it fit the conversation perfectly. I feel like. So, you okay? Coffee? Stretching? Are you talking? Because I can't hear you.
oh, I hit a button. Even
Oh.
better. I don't know. I don't know where I hit the button at.
You're like, I'm not talking to you anymore.
This is
You're
a
like,
rough spot for me. I was
you're
like,
doing wonderfully.
no, no, no. I don't know how much I muted myself for. It was funny.
Oh, just a second.
So, the mushrooms, uh, consciousness isn't probably at the same level as ours. So, if you have a scale, then you can evaluate a lot of different things, which is what the scientist was saying. But the one thing that's really interesting are the is that what they are? They're the reproductive organs produced by the fungi that spend most of their lives below ground in the form of microscopic filaments called hyphae.
No, no.
Hyphae. These hyphae, in turn, I need like Google pronounce thing to run.
Yep, I'm looking at pronunciation.
In turn, what?
Hyphae? Hyphae? Okay.
Hyphae?
I'm going to listen to it.
We're all waiting. This is what I think is the coolest part of the mushrooms, and it's pretty much what leads to.
Sorry.
Huh? I don't know if I need to be quiet while you're listening
No,
or
it's
if
hyphae. Hyphae. I'm sorry.
hyphae,
That worked.
the
Hyphae.
hyphae.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got it now. So the microscopic filaments that come out of the mushrooms into the ground are called the hyphae, right? I got it right. And in turn, they branch to form colonies called. Oh, great! Now we got another one.
I see.
My
I think,
mycelia, mycelia, mycelia,
but
mycelia spread out in in 3 dimensions within soil and leaf litter, absorbing water and feeding on roots, wood, and the bodies of dead insects and other animals. Ha 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 ha. So they're carnivores too, or not?
oh,
Well, not carnivores. Or well, carnivores. I was thinking cannibals. They didn't say that.
nope.
Each of the hyphae
Herbivores,
in the
omnivores.
mycelium, huh?
Sorry, I keep cutting you off, and I don't. I
No,
don't
you're
mean
fine. You can like go ahead.
I said omnivores. Isn't that the ones
Oh
that
yeah,
eat
well
both?
yeah, they because they do both. Yeah, they'd be omnivores. Yep. I was just thinking of mushroom that just like gets a taste for only animal meat. It's like
Yeah.
only gonna eat animals, and it's like really it's just on one body of one dead like raccoon. And that's it. It's its whole life. It's like I am now a carnivore
Forever.
forever, and then the body dissolves and the mushroom dies, and that's it. And each of the hyphae in the mycelium is a tube filled with pressure fluid and extends at its tip. The materials that power this elongation are conveyed in a little packages called, wow, this is getting really dirty if you're thinking dirty, vesicles, and whose motion is guided along an interior system of rails by proteins that operate as motors. The speed and the direction of the hyphal extension, as well as the positions of branch formations, are determined by patterns of vesicule, 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 vesicule delivery. The growth mechanism responds second by second, changing in temperature, water availability, and other opportunities, hardships imposed in the surrounding. Yeah. Okay.
I
So,
I have a question
mhm.
here. So, do the mushrooms that we eat, like the edible ones, anyways, do those mycelia or whatever also eat meat? Do those mushrooms eat meat? So then, if we eat them, I mean, would you be still vegetarian if you eat a mushroom that eats meat?
That's a good question. I guess it depends where it grew.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess it's still maybe it still would be vegetable because you're not actually killing the or I guess you could still be vegetarian because you're not actually killing the mushrooms. You're just taking the little thing off.
But if
I don't know.
is there is there any diet that doesn't allow them to eat conscious stuff?
Well, vegans, you can't. Vegans don't wear leather or eat honey, any animal byproduct.
So fungus would be out.
I don't think it is
Mm,
typically, but I'm
it's interesting.
curious. Yeah.
I would say it would qualify 100%. So
Yeah.
with their little branches, they're just saying it's kind of like roots. It's what people would understand as roots. I mean, it tries to find the best way to expand, right?
Mhm.
And according to the environment, it makes decisions and might do different things. It can grow around obstacles, deploy a patch and repair system if they're damaged. They react to confinement, altering. I don't know. This kind of sounds like just plant stuff. We're stretching here.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're
We
really
are.
stretching. What
I was just
I
curious.
thought was that the hyphae talk to each other. Now, here's where we get in. They also show evidence of learning and memory, working with fungi and isolated from grassland soil. Micro Micrologists measured the effect of temperature changes on the growth of the mycelia. When heated up quickly for a few hours, the mycelia stopped growing. When the temperature was reduced again, they bounced back from the episode by forming a series of smaller colonies from different spots across the original mycelium. Meanwhile, the different set of mycelia were exposed to mild temperature stress before the application of more severe shock. Colonies that had been primed in this way resumed normal growth swiftly after the severe stress and continued their smooth expansion rather than recovering here and there in the form of smaller colonies. This outcome suggests that they developed some sort of defensive mechanism. Cool. Okay, I'll give that a little more. Yeah. So, but you would still think about that. You would think plants would be already doing that, right? I don't think that would, to me, that's not too much more special than what I would think an outdoor plant has to do.
Yeah. But do the fungi help the plants do that?
Mm. I don't know.
But they're not plants, right? They're not, they're different.
Just to see, I got a whole bunch of articles. Oh, I just lost one. Oh no!
It's just, let's stop now. Just kidding. That was a joke.
Oh, that's right here. See?
Oh, yeah.
The ones where they might be key to the ecosystem. There we go. There's 70,000 kinds of them.
Hey, can we make this one a little bigger?
Yep.
Thank you.
And get rid of this thing at the bottom.
Yep.
Many of these fungi live below ground, but researchers have traditionally paid little mind to them. In the past few years, ecologists have realized that some, such as soil fungi called mycorrhizas, form vast underground networks that connect trees and supply them with nutrients, enabling a forest to thrive. So it is exactly what you just talked about.
Maybe. Probably.
Nope, that's what they just said. They said, Darcy,
Exactly.
you are right. Doctor, this using DNA, Diageo Barzo's team said Delgado, yeah, Delgado Bagquerzios.
That looks right.
Bagquerzios team said that Darcy is 100% right.
I love it when I'm 100%.
They defined what portion of soil fungi at each site were pathogens, decomposers, fungi that lived inside of plant roots. Yep, it's interesting. Let's see. Having a wide variety of pathogens seemed to comprise the health of the above ecosystem. Plants grew slower and carried out less photosynthesis productivity that helps fuel the rest of the ecosystem's organisms. Pathogens may weaken plants and make them less able to withstand climate stress. So, fungi must help clear with that. Help keep vegetation growing even in dry spells. They were able to, wow, they might ensure no matter how conditions change, some fungi was still able to supply the plants above with nutrients.
That's nice. No, that's a good neighbor.
There was one. Let's see if I got it still. I wanted to find the one where it talked about their hyphae. Yeah, again, fungus experiments showed spatial recognition, memory, and intelligence. So, low level conscious organism. I wanted to show where the hyphae that went to.
That picture?
Huh?
Oh. Let me see that picture. Is that like just mold in a petri dish?
Looks like it.
That's pretty cool looking.
We talked about it earlier how they talk, and it's through electrical pulses. And then if they're intermingled and underground with the tree roots, then the trees would also be doing similar things. You know what I mean? They'd be talking with them to help them. So, do trees really even exist? Scientifically speaking. How did they evolve?
I don't know.
Where did trees come from? We always talk about where animals and everything else came from.
I feel like it started in the oceans, right? With algae. I mean, they were the first photosynthesizers. I don't know if it's algae, but sea plants. I feel like I saw that on SciShow, uh, or maybe it was Eons, but um, I don't know. And then I'm assuming they slowly came on shore. I don't know. They saw trees are interesting. Let's find out.
It says if you look at an evolutionary diagram, you can see where Homo sapiens branched off from other primates. You can see where apples branched off from the rest of the rose family. But you won't see where trees branched off from other plants. That's because they never did. Trees are not a species, or even a family or an order. So, do trees even exist scientifically?
What? They're just there one day?
So, Tom, my buddy Tom
From Kentucky?
from Kentucky, Tom from Kentucky, a consulting forest scientist, said yes, just not in the way that you think. Man, ads everywhere. We're just like spammed with ad.
No matter what.
Now I got sound. I don't click that.
That's okay. It didn't come through. Well,
I know,
didn't hear
it
it
did to
anyway.
me. So a tree is simply a solution to a problem, and that problem is access to light. What? The earliest plants and lands were herbaceous, soft, non-woody plants like. Is it herbs or herbs?
Yes.
I know. So I'm gonna go with herbs and grasses that generally grow low to the ground. Hey, what do we think, chat? Herbs with the H emphasized or herbs with the E emphasized? I don't have time to put up a poll. So.
That would be hilarious. A quiz that says herbs or herbs.
Herbs or herbs. Take.
I like it.
Well, put it up. You got control of it.
I never saw how you did it.
Okay, let's see. Let's all learn.
Is it inside of the?
I'm not gonna show anything that's crazy. I don't think. You can see me, right?
Nope.
You can see my actual screen now.
Yep, but I can't see. Oh, yeah, I can see now.
You see this right here?
Yeah.
Down at the bottom? That's what you're looking for. Something like that.
Oh, create a poll. Got it.
Find it?
On it.
Oh.
Yep.
All right.
Thanks.
So, there was non-woody plants like herbs and grasses, generally ground low to the ground, grow low to the ground, ground low to the ground. That was stupid. But the moment one plant grew taller than the others, there was competition for sunlight. Oh, that's the best. The attribute of being a long-lived, that is perennial plant that keeps its leaves above the ground, above the rest of the plants, is what leads to a tree. All the other things that happen to trees have to happen in order for that to work efficiently. For example, trees have thick trunks to support the weight above them and help them reach greater heights, therefore more sunlight. Trees also have an efficient plumbing system to draw up water that draw draw water up that high and bring nutrients back down. That's thanks to xylem and phloem, the tissues that form the tree rings. Trees also have a large, efficient root system to supply all that water.
So,
It's so funny. Do I get to vote? I gotta log in.
I tried to do it phonetically. I don't.
That doesn't work. I can't
I
vote.
feel like you can't vote for your own.
Well, I
vote.
can, but I gotta log in, and then it might mess
Oh.
stuff up. And now I just lost chat on that window. Oh well.
Yeah.
So wood is one of the most amazing structures in the world because it's an adaptation that simultaneously solves multiple problems. Wood does three things that are absolutely necessary for the tree. It's firm, flexible enough to support a tree's height, and it's great at transporting water a long distance. Oh wait. Oh, that
There's
was
your and.
yeah, those are two, yeah. It's firm and flexible enough to support a tree's height. It's great at supporting or transporting water long distance, and it's great at storing sugar. Without wood, trees would buckle under their own weight and struggle to get enough water and nutrients.
Interesting. That's pretty cool. So, huh. Trees are weird. Now I feel like I need to learn more about trees.
Mm-hmm. So,
More.
before our break, we'll end with there are a lot of families that are only herbaceous. There are even more families that have both herbaceous and tree members. Then there are a few families that are only trees. If I were to show you a picture of 1,000 different species of trees, you'd go, wow, they're all different. Just like we're all different. But their fundamental attributes are the ones that make a tree.
That totally sounds like something I would say, especially the last sentence. I say I talk about fundamental attributes all the time.
But as similar as their characteristics are, trees aren't related to each other. They're just a habit or a form that a plant can take. You can find trees all over the evolutionary map. It's kind of interesting.
That is super interesting.
They're just like, I'm greedy. I want. They're the rich plants. They're like the elite plants of that species or that family, right?
Yep.
They're like, no, I want more sunlight because that's what would be money to them would be sunlight.
Yep.
All right, 5-minute break.
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. Let's see. What do we got coming up? We got funny stuff maybe. Oh, have you ever thought about being a landlord?
No.
How about a landlord of the metaverse?
Nope. I never have thought about that.
Or have you ever thought about warp drives?
Yes.
So we got that coming up. And then we got
Hey.
other spacey stuff. And we got some dolphins that are doing inappropriate things.
Are they?
Maybe.
They're so rude.
And maybe they're self-medicating with the mountains of sugar underneath the ocean.
Probably.
So we got lots of stuff to talk about. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Yep. See you soon.
Wow, that guy's a giant.
I was recalibrating. I started laughing. I told you.
Darcy shared a picture of her eggplant family member,
Yep.
and he's inappropriate.
What?
Yep.
Not inappropriate.
Yeah, that's a big eggplant.
Weirdo.
Yeah, I know. All right. That was interesting. Now I'm all messed up. I don't know what to do. Who cares? All right. Where do we leave off? Oh, let's see if these are funny.
Yeah, let's.
Artist creates fun and relatable comics about procrastination, insecurities, and awkward everyday interactions. What do you think?
I think that sounds right up my alley.
Oh, I was thinking of your mushroom. I don't know if I said it earlier. You know when you were talking about the vegan vegetarian thing and mushrooms?
Uh-huh.
You know blockchain would solve that problem, right?
Ah.
Because it could prove where they were grown, and as long as they're grown in regular soil, not on anything.
Not on a raccoon.
That...
Well,
yeah, not on a raccoon. I'm glad you brought my brain. I was even more dark. I was trying to like bring it back. Yeah. So
yeah.
cool. Raccoon.
Well,
Yep. Let's go.
I
With
mean,
the
I
little
think
happy
the ones
raccoon.
that are grown in
Oh.
mushroom farms,
Mm-hmm.
which those are grown on poop. Uh, so well, I mean, the mushroom farm in Washington.
Yeah.
That
I mean that makes sense.
But I mean, just like the ones in the woods, because people go mushroom hunting or whatever, and you don't know where that mycelium has, been wandering off to, and since it shares nutrients, like who knows? But I guess at the end of the day, like, yeah, I don't know.
Would you want? You could pick where your mushrooms were grown. I don't know. If you had them, I would imagine you'd be able to get it to where it'd be completely fresh,
Safe.
untainted, right? Because you got to have a level of tolerance. I mean, because you can't go back forever, but you could do a couple generations in some nice, clean soil, and I don't know.
Yeah, I suppose.
But then just think, if they grew mushrooms on the raccoon, but the raccoon had the little like get well soon balloons and stuff like that,
Then it would be okay.
then it would be okay.
Hmm.
I love those pictures. Those are my favorite.
The get well soon raccoon pictures.
Where it's the roadkill with the balloons that say "Hope you get well soon."
I'm not
You're
familiar
not
with those
familiar with that
pictures.
genre of art.
No.
Guess maybe it's only here in our area. No.
Yeah.
There was people for a while going around and tying the little the get well balloons to
They would
road
find
crew.
sleeping animals side of the road.
And it was funny
Gotcha.
because it was just like, oh.
Yeah, that's hilarious and sad.
It was. That's exactly. It was both and gross. It was all of it. So
Yep. Hmm.
I don't think it's appropriate, but it was okay to look at.
Yep.
So that's what we're getting ready to look at. We don't know. We haven't scanned this ahead of time, so this might not be safe for work.
Yeah.
Okay, so they don't want to talk to this person. Oh, work friend.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, somebody you don't want to talk to, and you happen to have to ride the bus with them.
But yeah, you'll talk to him at work. That's awesome. I like that.
Hey, what's up? How's it going? That was good.
Well, sometimes especially on your commute, and when you're taking the bus. I used to take the bus to work, and it's just like that's your quiet time before you have to get to work. So yeah, you don't always want to talk to your coworker.
Know it owl. How do I make
Huh.
my employees feel valued? Do you value them? No. Then maybe you should try that. I was hoping there would be an easier way.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's a very true statement there. Relatable.
Yep.
Hello.
Darn it.
Oh, this one's funny. So the picture is they're really far apart, and you say hello, and you say it too far away, and then you're like, oh shit, too soon, and then you don't say it again, and then you say, oh hi, and then the other person's like, oh shit, too late. It's kind of
That's
funny.
hilarious.
Not as funny as other ones, but that was funny. All right, we got somebody typing in a computer. Clickety clack. I am talking. I am taking a break from social media. So sick of attention seekers. And then posts. I am taking a break from social media. So sick of attention speakers. And stares at that post and gets mad because no one replies.
Yep. That's awesome.
So you have 30 years. Oh, what were you saying?
I would say you see those a lot in social media.
Well, that's the whole point. Yeah, that's the whole point of
Right.
posting. Because if you're just gonna take a break, you'd just do it, right? You wouldn't post that I'm taking a break, because people get it that you're just not posting anymore. They'd be like, oh, they're taking a break, or they're in jail, right? Facebook jail. So you have 30 years of experience with product development, and you're 20 years, and you're 20 years old. That is extremely impressive. You're hired as an unpaid intern.
Aw, poor raccoon. He's like, the fungus were kinder to me than
The fungus.
this.
Check it out. I can hear you properly now because the person has the hearing aids. But can you hear my thoughts? Can you hear me silently judging you? And then the person responds with the hearing aid, asshole.
Yep.
Because they can hear your thoughts or tell by the way you're looking at them. How can I become a better listener? Great question. Nice. I asked a great question. I'm a great question asker. My questions make people think. Oh, that's the best.
Like you could see that he's talking in the
Oh, I didn't even notice because that's so yeah. Oh, that's the best. So yeah, good point. So great question. And then the person's thinking how great of a question asker they are, while the other person's
telling them how to
telling
be a
them
better
something. Actually, something. Listen, something. I guess I have a talent for asking questions the person's thinking, and they're still going on. And then they're like, and now you are a great listener. And then they're like, fuck yeah. That's so funny.
That's awesome. That's feels relatable for sure. You're like, why did I ask them this question when I clearly cannot pay attention now?
Doctor, I am very depressed. Have you tried yoga? Yes, that didn't work for me. Have you tried yoga? Yes, but yoga. Yoga, have you tried yoga? Doctor, I am clinically insane. Have you tried yoga?
That's awesome. Yeah, that is does definitely seem to be the go-to.
Oh,
Although I do love yoga, and I unfortunately find myself saying the same thing.
that's your go-to is yoga?
Yeah, and like,
I gotta
oh,
go
you're
do some
stressed out.
yoga.
Have you
All
tried
right.
yoga? No, when somebody says something like, "Oh, like my back is sore. Have you tried yoga?" "Oh, I'm really stressed at work." "Oh, have you tried yoga?" And then I realize I'm doing it, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm a turd." Like that, and then I do it again anyways.
Because you're excited about it and you feel that it helps you. So you want it to help other people, right?
yeah, yeah, but
Well,
there's also
if you're just
yeah.
suggesting it and you don't believe in it, then you're a horrible person.
Then like, I think this is funny. I'm just gonna suggest this.
Life goals. Life goals. Be productive. Do stuff. Don't waste time. I'll get started tomorrow. Tomorrow. I'll get started tomorrow.
I don't know. I'm making a list. To actually make a list of your life goals is, yeah, you deserve a couple days off at least.
No, this is one that's the best. Oh, I didn't think it's going where it's going if you look down. So there's a person at the keyboard, clackety click clack. Your password is too weak. Mad. Goes, puts on a headband, runs, lifts some weights, punches on a punching bag, lifts some more weights. Has a little muscle bulge now. Slams at the keyboard. Enter password. I'll
Awesome.
show you too weak.
Look at the comment. John password Cena.
Yep. That's awesome.
That's funny.
All right, that was good. We're gonna do one bonus one and then we'll move on. And we'll come back and cover the other ones on another episode. I'm afraid of the dark. Why? I'm being stalked at night. Some creeps keeps telling. I'm being stalked at night. Some creeps keep trying to kill me. Oh, that's just your regular enemies. They stalk you in the daytime too. Mom?
Aww.
Santa and the raccoon.
Yeah.
I don't think we ended on the bonus one wasn't. I think that was the weakest out of all of them.
Yep. Well, you gotta end on a low note.
Yep. Yep. All right. But if you want to make some money, maybe your new hustle is being a landlord.
Where, Jeff? Where's the best place to be a landlord?
I don't know, but I know I've heard that some people do well in the metaverse. What do you think?
And maybe the person that bought all the land next door to Snoop Dogg. Wasn't that a thing? Was it Snoop?
Yeah, you're exactly right. Somebody bought their little virtual property next to Snoop. And hopefully they'll get to hang out with him someday.
Yep. In the metaverse.
In the metaverse.
Or they can just rent out their area. Yeah, I'm just curious because I mean your land would have to be super expensive to buy to be able to get that kind of dough.
So this person named Sam Huber has been buying land since 2017 and has found a surprisingly lucrative business turning that virtual real estate into actual money, working with brands ranging from McDonald's to Pepsi to Formula One racing. AdMix has been buying space. That must be his company, AdMix. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it says up here. Has been buying space in various metaverse platforms like Decentraland and the Sandbox and leasing them to companies interested in dabbling inside this new online virtual space. Depending on the size of the space and the metaverse platform where it's located, Huber says his company has bought virtual real estate for the equivalent of anywhere between $20,000 and $1 million in the form of cryptocurrency. On the high end, building out a metaverse experience on one of those plots of land and leasing it back to a company can get you monthly rents upwards of $60,000. Huber says that on some projects, AdMix has pulled off in profits upwards of 70%. He's one of the longest established metaverse landlords, so his story is going to be the 0.0000001%. Right?
Yeah.
So it's unreal. but he's got an interesting angle on it. His angle is he's buying up virtual lands and leasing them out to the big names. So then the big names don't have to know anything about it, and he could even build the metaverse land up. So the experience from when Darcy and I went in, you kind of like walk around and then you go into a building, you go play some games or you look at stuff, right? I mean, it's exactly what you would think. And you can make it any way you want because you code it. And when I say anywhere you want within that platform, right? Whatever their limits are. So you're not going to be any fancier and cooler looking than the place next to you, but at the same time, um, it's just a virtual world. So if he does all that, that takes time and effort. And if you did it smartly, where you could rebrand the whole thing you built, depending on who leases it, right? So all their advertisements go up all over it. And then if somebody else leases it, then it's kind of like a billboard, right? Think of a billboard.
Yeah.
And so that makes sense. But the thing is, Decentraland is only popular because people make it popular. The sandbox is only popular because people make it popular. So right now, for regular people, if you go find a metaverse that doesn't cost insane amounts of money to buy up the land like he was doing in 2017, and if the developers, and if it's a good project, not Terra, not Luna, if you paid attention on Wednesday, like I think the projects that were being built on that might be good, but the guy running that now is being investigated for like a whole Ponzi scheme thing. It's interesting.
Yikes.
Yeah. Like
Worse already.
Yeah, it's gotten worse
That's
quickly.
not surprising. People lose that kind
and it's not, that isn't something, that's not a validated accusation, but the evidence is stacking up. It's not one of those where it's like they're just writing articles about the guy. There's a lot of verified evidence that there was a lot of stuff that company wasn't doing well. So, you got to pay attention to your platforms, but if you find a good platform, you could go buy the land, you could do the same thing this guy's doing. And then if that platform does a good job of promoting itself, you do a good job of promoting the platform and your stuff, you can just draw people to it, and Decentraland won't be as strong. And what happens is McDonald's doesn't care. They're just going to go take down, they're not going to pay that monthly lease and go to the new place. Or they're going to hold multiples, if that makes sense, if there's multiple places. So you could do this really, I wouldn't say easily, but you could replicate the same model.
Yeah, I like it though. That's cool.
I think it's really cool. And you would want to buy a few plots, because then you could put your stuff up in a few spots, and then you could, sell to a few companies, and it would just kind of have the same feel. You might want to buy a virtual block, right? That'd be kind of cool. So that's all this talks about.
I like it. I like hearing how people are using the metaverse.
Think about, okay, so now you're a virtual landlord, and think about all the problems with real landlords. Your place gets trashed and everything, right? Mm-hmm. You just hit reset. You don't have to go in and clean anything up. You don't have to recode stuff because it's a framework you already built. And yeah, more than likely, all they're doing is putting up images and moving around little 3D objects, right? That's like it. So you just destroy all the prefabs, and you reset it. And if you were smart when you set it up, you'd save a template. So then you'd just be like, boop, template, replace. And there you go. The next tenant moves in. That'd be kind of cool. That'd be funny to watch. Say you're walking, okay, let's say you have a virtual apartment complex. And that'd be cool. That would be actually kind of cool. So you build a virtual apartment complex, and regular people can rent it out, right? And so it's rent control, it's price controlled too. And so you're walking down the hallway, and you see the resetter, so it goes through an actual little process, and it has these NPCs that come out and walk into the apartment, and you see them like actually remodeling it, but doing things humans can't do, right? And so it'd be kind of cool. I'd just
My
be.
first thought was, you get a deja vu. But that means they changed something.
Yeah, yeah. That would be, but it'd be kind of cool if I was walking down the hallway. It'd be cool.
That would be very cool. You're just like, what's happening over there? Or like in Men in Black when they open the locker and it's like a whole world in there.
Hmm. Exactly. That's
That
exactly it. There's somebody that like I almost bought it on Kickstarter, but I really just didn't. I don't have a bookcase for one anymore. I mean, I have one, and it's got books and games on it, but um, they did like little mini worlds inside of the size of a book. So it's
oh
kind of like
yeah,
a
there's a
backstreet
girl on YouTube
alley.
that does it.
Huh?
Hmm. There's a girl on YouTube that creates those.
Okay.
Um,
Yep.
yeah.
So
Oh,
there was
I love
somebody
watching
selling
stuff
them.
like that.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
basically, and
awesome.
it's cool. And it lights up and stuff, and it just looks like they did like the Harry Potter alley, and they just had different themes, but it was cool. And so yeah, exactly like that, because that would, okay, if you think about it, so you have this apartment complex, and you can you're in a virtual world, so why would you want to walk down a hallway, right? That
Yeah.
experience would be pointless because you could just click in a menu and say, go into my apartment. I mean, I would be kind of annoyed walking down a hallway, right? But if you got the chance of seeing something like that, that would
Yeah.
make that mundane experience worthwhile, right?
Yeah. I think, yeah, because, well, when I lived in Portland, I was super broke back. Well, I've been broker, but I was broke back then. I didn't have a car or anything, and I would go on walks during the day just so I could look in people's windows. Like,
Yeah.
just from the street, you could see
Oh,
like in really nice neighborhoods and like, oh, look at it, they've got, you know, furniture and just like I don't know,
isn't
I
that
just
what
love
people
doing
really
stuff.
want in social
Yeah.
media, right?
Yeah. Yeah, just like a little peek into somebody's world. And so, yeah, I like your idea of being able to walk down hallways and like walk around because then you can just like peek in um and get and see what's happening in there. And
And if it goes to like that one article we were talking about where it's just empty, everything's empty.
yep.
That'd be what you go in, you walk down the hallway and you look at all these windows and there's no way, it's just like empty building, and you're like, no.
Yep.
Unfortunately, that's part of how it goes, but you'd have to have maybe a little, but that would be cool. That would actually, because that's what everybody wants. I think that's what a lot of people want on Twitter and Facebook. They want to be seen, right?
Yep.
And so, wouldn't that would give you the perfect platform where you can invite people in, and that's how you'd meet people kind of safely. So you'd have a locked door, but then you could choose to have your window into your apartment opaque or not, right?
Yep.
And
And that,
so
yeah.
that would be cool. That would be cool because, like, I don't know. And by default, I guess if you're not in it, right, it would automatically have the window totally transparent so you can see in. You just could never enter the person's apartment.
Gotcha. Yeah. So if you were there, you could decide if you want
Mm-hmm.
privacy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could invoke privacy if you were there, but the rule would be, I mean, part of participating in any community, you got to have some rules because there's got to be an enforced appeal, right? You got to have something, a catch for one, and then you got to also kind of like make people kind of play nice. And
Yeah.
so, in that way, the appeal is the window shopping, right? And you don't have to worry about theft in theory because it's a virtual world. So that doesn't really, in my opinion, I don't think that would happen unless you programmed it in. That would be kind of funny. if you
Yeah.
if you could
Yeah.
learn how to lockpick and then you could break in, that would be the thing. That would be like something there. You'd be like, oh crap, they stole my stuff again. And so you would have the
Maybe.
ability to learn that skill. What do you think? But just walking by and looking at in the window, but then total privacy control if you're inside your own apartment at that
Yeah.
time.
Well, I'm kind of curious, like, um, to be a part of that community. I wonder, I have a feeling most people wouldn't worry about the privacy even if they were there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean? Because
That would be the
that kind of
appeal.
community
Yeah.
would bring a certain more often than not a certain kind of so then maybe it'd be more like an OnlyFans.
But I know a lot of people though also in my family that don't like to openly put themselves out there on social media. They
Yeah.
participate on it, but they just want to read, right? So they would instantly want to shut their window, right? They don't want.
Yeah.
Why would
Well,
I
I
want
just mean
somebody
like
looking at my stuff?
you,
But
the the people that lived in that actual building. So maybe not every building is like that. So you'd have your own place, but you would be able to go to these other places where people had everything open.
oh yeah, like there you build community spaces inside that building, all kinds of cool stuff. But I was just thinking, okay, let's say you're like, why would anybody want to turn off their window, right? It's no big deal. Well, just think you're trying to dodge that person walking down the hallway because then they're at the door knocking, and they know you're online. That would be your offline, like your ghosting mode, because you wouldn't want that
Hilarious.
person, right? You would be dodging virtual people. uh, that would be so funny. Or you'd
That's
have to.
awesome. I wonder if you could block you, or you could just block them like you do on Facebook. You
Oh,
could just be like,
that'd be
they just don't even know
crazy.
you're ever there.
No, 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 no. When they walk by, the window's blacked out just
Oh,
for
like
them.
the opposite of like when you're in the freezer aisle at the grocery store and the lights come on.
Uh
It's like
huh.
the opposite.
Uh
You
huh.
walk by and all the lights go out.
No, that's so funny. It was on and then it goes off. Oh,
Yeah.
the rendering. And then you got somebody with a really nice computer that renders it out really far so they can see as you're walking down the hallway, his lights on. And then like you're playing with the collider of the programming, right? Because there's got to be a point where walking down the hallway, then it starts doing its that action, right? A trigger.
Mhm.
Um,
Yep.
they're called colliders typically, I think. I might have that wrong. So if anybody's in the game industry, feel free to correct me. But it's basically the field around whatever you want to happen, right? And so, yeah, that would just be so funny. You got people that are experts of stalking. They know like where how to like matrix stuff. It would be funny, but it'd be very interesting. I would actually probably participate in that because I like decorating. Whenever I have a game, I do like doing my little room. I find myself there's a game called like Animal Crossing, but I don't play it. But I used to. But I find it interesting to decorate your stuff, and especially like you can do collections. I like collections. I'm a collection person in real life. I like collections in virtual worlds. The only thing I don't like about collections in virtual worlds is that you can't take them from game to game, and you can't show them off to more people than that play the game. And so, I think that would be a really cool thing.
That
Is it
would be
break
cool.
time,
I did.
or are you still
Yeah.
good for a minute?
I'm good for a minute.
Okay, cool.
I was just thinking like if you like games, but I don't think you get like awards or whatever when you're in games. But I was thinking it would be cool to be like have your like wall of awards for your games. Like I passed this level. I killed this many thingies.
You know what? It's so funny. You say, I don't think you get awards. No, they gamers are all about awards. That is like they do like DLC. I wouldn't call it DLC around it, but they do updates just to add more awards. And it's just
That's
like
awesome.
trivial stuff, just
So
little
you
tokens, but
so
they're
you could have like
mhm.
a place in your room that just has if you can't bring your collection, you can have your awards.
Okay. So now, yeah, you're making all your awards NFTs. Yep, 100%. So you got your trophy room. Ooh, yeah. So you got your trophy room with your and you can theme it. So then you theme it with your game. And now the game itself sells posters that you're allowed to buy, and you own those posters, and you can hang up the posters, right? So you can theme it a little better.
That would be pretty cool.
Hmm.
And instead of like your favorite star, it's your character on the poster. Like doing all these cool things.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Like not your
That.
favorite band, but your
Oh.
actual.
That is
That would be awesome.
exactly. Yes, you're the star of the game. So no, you take your own screenshots. Why do you even got to buy theirs? You just put up your own screenshots. Now,
Yep.
now you're really
People
talking
did.
about
People
it.
did. Yep.
Yeah, okay, so you got two things, right? One, you buy from the company and you can replace yourself, right? Totally cool. I
Mhm.
think that's awesome too. Because then it's like kind of like a stock thing that somebody put a lot. Because not everybody's artistic, right? And
Yeah.
so or wants to take the time. They may be artistic and just don't want to take the time. But then you also have the people that do really good on taking screenshots and posing and basically make it better than a, as good, I would say, as like a poster quality, somebody trying to really make a really good thing. And then if you had a way to cut out your image, you could resell your screenshot background and how it stood to everybody else, right?
Yeah, that
And then
would
they
be
could put
awesome.
their character in it, even though they weren't able to capture that. But then I think it's a little bit of a trophy to have certain screenshots, so maybe you wouldn't want to sell it. I don't know. That'd be an interesting angle, but I really, really like it. And
Yeah, I
I
think
keep
you're
coming
right.
back to you got to be able to transport this stuff from metaverse to metaverse.
Yeah,
You
that would
have
be.
to. That's huge. To me, that's huge.
Get on it, guys. Work
It's
with
like
us.
it would be like using your Google sign in, your single sign in across all the websites, right? There has to be a level of stuff that can be transported. Because I don't know, because you invest in the exactly what we were talking about, where you invest so much into a single metaverse and then it crashes, right? Well, what do you do with all your stuff now that you, as a regular person, put all your money into? Just because they didn't run it right, or because other people chose that this isn't popular anymore. I would I would like to see a mechanism to save all your stuff, right? And be able to bring it around. And you have that ability with NFTs, but it has to be readable in the other area. So just to be able to say, yeah, of course you can transport your NFTs, but that doesn't mean anything if you can't read the image file or you can't apply it inside of whatever universe, right?
Yeah.
So that's where I think if you thought about that a lot and people came to a generic protocol or a framework that everybody agrees to at a base level just to be able to transport stuff around, that would help a lot with adoption for regular people, right?
I think so. But do you think it'll eventually just become one metaverse instead of having a bunch of different ones where they're combined?
Well, that's okay
And
too.
now it's like I can't I don't know what the world would be called because it's not like a dystopia. I don't know, but I'm just thinking of like V for Vendetta, where it's like you know the government rules everything.
And you would have
There's
that.
just one,
I mean, it's the
and
same as right now. But if everybody's off the same framework, you would have the availability to leave it, right?
yeah,
You'd be able to
yeah,
say, "Hey, I just don't want to participate in this." That's one of the things that
yeah. That's true.
we can do right now, right? You can go to one of the off social media sites. You don't have to be
Hmm.
on Facebook. There's a handful of others. Just everybody's on Facebook. That's the problem. And so
Yeah.
if you can convince your crew to go over to a different one, but then we're talking about worlds. Just think if you take like a little car, you can be in yours and you just take that, you build the, oh man, it's just like us. You build an integration protocol between the two. So now you have a tube that connects the two cities.
A wormhole.
A wormhole. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. That
uh,
would be a cool
yeah,
visual.
that would
But
be.
I don't know. I would want the framework so then you could leave. Because you're right. I mean, you're gonna have everybody in one or two or three. It's still gonna be the same. There's no reason not because it's where you want to go where everybody's at because
Well, I
it's
was just
easiest to
curious
communicate.
if you thought it would go that way
Yeah,
rather
it
than
will, 100%, 100%. I just want to be able to control my stuff. I want to be able to pack up my moving van and leave. Right?
your USB
Yep,
thing.
my USB van. And yeah, I mean, because, right? Isn't that what you would
Yeah.
want? If you're not happy with how the problem is,
Ooh,
we're talking about
you could have a company that's a moving company.
a moving. Wow, that's so funny. That packs up your stuff and grabs it.
Yeah, and like codes it to work in the next place. So
Oh,
all you did need to do
that'd be
is plug it in.
sucky. No, I mean, it would be fine. But just think you get a bad moving company.
Yeah, just like you do now.
Yeah, that's what I was just like, that'd be bad.
You're like, all my stuff's dented.
Yeah, yeah. No, you would
My
probably need
pizza
someone.
boxes.
That'd be interesting. Yeah, you first you get, but the protocol to be able to move between networks and places should be there. It's kind of like,
Yep.
think about when we had to move repositories, right? You can move them from GitHub to here to here to wherever. Whoever's running the top part of it, right? but the base of it's the same. The protocol is the same.
Yeah.
Because you'd have your cross chain. You need multiple blockchains, but you would have. It's kind of like building everything off Ethereum, like at the very, very base. Then you might have different ones on top, but I don't know if that's the right move. I think you would need its own. Not really tied to a currency, but then you gotta have a motivation for people to run it if it's blockchain.
Yep.
All right, break time.
Yep.
Or are we just gonna push to the end? What do you want to do?
I can push to the end if you want to take a break and get some coffee, then I'm good with that too.
Let's do quick break.
Okay.
Because we are gonna transition to space, and then a few animal things. We'll end with some animals.
Okay. Yep.
What's this one? I don't know what this one is. Wait,
Which one?
This one right here. Oh, the sugar mountains. Yeah, cool.
Sugar mountains.
Cool. All right, let's get some sound going. Here we go. Looked like you were staring me down.
I was like,
like, see, there's a weird spot where if the coffee pot requires me to make a new pot.
Like the spot is there's.
It's always during a break. Yes.
Oh, gotcha.
So it's
a
just
spot in the day.
Yeah. Like during one of our breaks, it's just kind of funny because by the time, if I make a fresh one, it's usually right now. Or if I start and don't make a fresh one before the start, then it's during the first break. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like either way, horrible. And I only make it's not a whole pot of coffee. It's just 8 cups. That's all. That's all.
For our poll, I'm gonna go ahead and end it. We have 100%
herbs. Herbs. That's my vote. Herbs. All right.
Thanks for playing.
Thanks for playing. You all win a prize. Your prize is thanks for playing. Herbs. There's a warp drive. Warp drives are getting closer to reality.
NASA says that.
Says NASA. Ever since the sci-fi TV series Star Trek, the show has left people baffled with thousands of questions. The science fiction series has always been intertwined between real-life science since the past decades. It has inspired technologies that people use daily. One of the many remarkable events shown in the series, Warp Drive, was one of the many futuristic ideas that caught the attention of many. They love many of many people across the globe. In fact, it was the very first theory proposed in Star Trek, allowing it to travel faster than light across the galaxy, thus opposing Einstein's theory of relativity. Prevents anything from moving faster than light. Do you know how warp drives work?
No. Do you?
It is so cool. There's actually.
They bend space.
Huh?
Do they bend? Is it bending space? What's happening in this picture?
We're gonna talk about it because I a few months ago watched a video about warp drives. It was really interesting because I didn't know how they worked, and I wanted to know more about them. And they're real. They're 100% real. It's crazy. But then there was two different models, and one takes more energy than the other. And I think the other one was the new one. I think that was what the video was about. But we'll talk about it. Miguel Alcubierre, a theoretical physicist. Huh? Miguel. Yeah, thank you. A theoretical physicist in 1994 developed a theory called the Alcubierre drive. He created a bubble within space-time that would twist distances, making it possible for anything to travel long distances within a bubble. Within the bubble, but within a bubble. Most people thought this made perfect theoretical sense, but practically it wasn't workable. If only people could build it. It's easy to dream it. Hard to build it. However, to prove them wrong, Joseph Agnew, an undergrad from the University of Alabama, wanted to test the theory. Joseph says, mathematically, if you fulfill all the energy requirements, they can't prove that it doesn't work. Suppose you have a craft that's in the bubble. He continues, quoted in a university press release on the talk. What you would do is you'd compress space-time ahead of the craft and expand space-time behind it. But don't you think Einstein's theory of relativity throws a wrench in the whole thing, since there's nothing that can travel faster than the speed of light? As such, when an object travels faster, they tend to get heavier. And the heavier they get, the harder it is to achieve acceleration. In short, it is not at all possible to get to the speed of light. But what is a warp drive?
Yeah, what is it?
So the warp drive is said to be the holy grail of space exploration. Well, that's probably what we see with the Tic Tacs. They're probably just warp drives. Interesting.
With what? Tic Tacs?
The Tic Tac spacecraft, right? The one in the last few years that's really got heavily shown. It's that little white dot, and the U.S. Air Force people came out and were talking about it, and they were like, "Yeah, we see them all the time, and we follow them." And they had a whole bunch of video that was released by the government.
Oh,
No?
yeah.
Yes. Yep. And so, but the thing was, they kept saying that it could move in any directions, like without being applied to the normal laws of physics. So maybe it's just warp drive testing their warp drives.
Interesting. Oh, look at that little guy.
Nothing can travel faster than light, the reason being because it takes infinite amounts of energy to accelerate any object to mass up to the speed of light. The only reason why light does not get affected by the fact that photons, i.e., the particles of light, do not have any mass. As a result, any spacecraft traveling at the speed of light is highly impossible. However, there are two loopholes. If we're speaking of finding the odds of traveling to the light of speed.
Weird.
Okay. The odds of traveling to the speed of light, it simply means we are speaking about propulsion of objects. No prohibition mentions traveling as close as possible to light speed. They're just like, it's like circle talk.
Yeah.
All right. Based on the theory, traveling a spaceship sits within the warp bubble, surrounded by a ring of negative mass. The ring of negative mass will help shrink space-time before the ship and stretch space-time behind the ship. Doing so will allow the spaceship to travel 10 times the speed of light. Even so, within the bubble, the spacecraft will maintain the universal speed limit while the general relativity remains intact. Although there might be a small problem here, this will require a large amount of energy. Yeah, the whole problem is energy.
Mm-hmm.
And we're getting closer and closer to solving that problem with fusion reactors and stuff like that. Well, nuclear reactors, small carryable nuclear reactors. So we solved the energy problem, but that's pretty much what it came to. The other theory of one was it was how they did this ring. Maybe we'll talk about it and see how this is actually generated.
Yeah, I think that I would like to find out more.
And the two working theories, workable theories. Let's call them working. A Russian motor.
We only have a couple minutes left.
Yep, a Russian motor just exploded.
What?
Well, orbiting Earth.
Didn't we talk about this last week?
I asked you that earlier. You said no. I said okay. Let's throw it in. So good. Move on.
I didn't know what. Clearly, I didn't know what you were asking me. I'm sorry.
Cool. That's why I was like, I thought we talked about this because it was in our list of not talked about things. So then you were like, no, we haven't talked about it. Nope. I was like, cool.
Yeah, I totally did. I remember saying that, and I do not recall the article. That's awesome. Sorry. My bad.
Because we talked about the thing that attracted, but I wasn't sure. All right, so beach goers have found a giant squid.
Whoa.
The sea creature measured nearly 12 feet long. 11 feet, 12 feet.
That's pretty big, right?
Mm-hmm. That's really big. I mean, for a little baby, I don't think a squid's being that big. And then they can get bigger than that.
So that was just gotcha. That was a baby. You said that. It just didn't register.
Yeah, they didn't call it a baby, but it's just a baby one. A baby giant squid. So 11 feet here, and they're talking about 30 feet.
Yeah, okay, that feels much larger. So that makes sense. So this is a small giant. But they get
This
bigger.
The squid was beached at night after sustaining injuries, possibly from an encounter with a commercial boat or fishing vessel.
Oh, that's sad.
uh,
Jeez.
so yeah, by the time they got there, local fishermen had already removed the squid's eyes, beak, and portions of its tentacles. Most of what remained by the carcass was then chopped up and thrown back to sea. They kept some tissue. They were sad
Yeah,
that the
that would
body
be
didn't
very
make
sad.
it back.
Yeah. That's sad. But it would be a cool thing to see. Not a dead squid, but a giant squid.
Are we hard stop at 9:30? We got 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
Cool.
And then
Many coastal areas around the world are home to lush green meadows, thanks all to seagrasses.
oh, thank you, Seagrass.
Scientists have discovered seagrass release a colossal amount of sugar into their soils, which is also known as rhizosphere. Under the seagrass, sugar concentrations were unexpectedly at least 80 times higher than previously measured in marine environments.
Weird.
So, seagrass produces sugar during photosynthesis. Most of the sugar produced by these plants is used for their metabolism and growth under average light conditions. Under high light conditions, however, such a midday during the summer, the plants produce more sugar than they can store, and then it's released into the rhizosphere. Spring seagrass meadows are considered endangered. So
Oh,
that's kind of cool. So wherever they're at, there's a bunch
that
of
is
sugar
nice.
underneath them. And then
That's awesome. Hmm.
we have dolphins eat that. No. Dolphins might be self medicating. Animals rub against antibacterial corals and sponges, possibly to ward off skin infections.
That's cool.
See, they're up there in the consciousness chart.
Yep.
We're not the only ones that pop a pill or slather on ointment. Chimpanzees swallow rough leaves to rid their intestines of that sounds a little rough.
Yeah.
Intestines of
Yeah.
parasites. Ants eat foods rich in hydrogen peroxide to expel fungal infections. Now scientists might be adding dolphins to the list. I've noticed dolphins rubbing up against corals and sponges because that's where they're getting their ointment from.
That's so cool. Because I've heard of some of the sea creatures will come over and let little fishes eat the parasites off of them and get in their mouths and stuff and gills, you know? But it's cool that dolphins use the corals.
Yep. So
Yep.
that is it. That is all we have today.
That's all there is.
Yeah, I was just looking see if there's anything else, but it's as simple as that. Because they were able to take samples back and see what was going on and prove that this was happening. So that is the end of our show. On Wednesday, we have more crypto stuff.
Yep.
Helping businesses with blockchain. Have you wondered how this is already in place for businesses? How it is going to enable future businesses to, I guess, streamline financial transactions and maybe interactions and accountability That also comes up.
Yeah. Well, we've talked. You and I have talked about it. I think. I mean, I can't wait to talk about it some more.
Can't wait. All right. So until then, everybody have a wonderful weekend.
Yeah. Have a good weekend.
Bye.
Bye.